Is it reasonable to assume a goal in all parts of nature and reject it as a whole? What can I know? What do I have to do? What can I expect? The human heart refuses to believe in a nameless universe. Only descending into the hell of self-knowledge can pave the way to godliness. The things we see are not in themselves what we see. It remains completely unknown to us what the object itself is, and apart from our senses, we know nothing but the way we see it. The nice thing about living in a small town is that when you don't know what you're doing, everyone else does. Even the exact imitation of the nightingale's song displeases us when we discover that it is mimicry, and not nightingale. Act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in yourself or in the person of another, never only as a means to an end, but always at the same time as an end. The bad thing about war is that it makes more bad people than it can take away. Genius is the ability to independently arrive at and understand concepts that would normally have to be taught by others. Ideas without intuition are empty, intuition without ideas are blind. The evil effect of science on man is in principle this, that so far most of those who wish to demonstrate knowledge of it have not achieved any increase in understanding at all, but only deviations from it, not to mention that it serves the most of. The two big dividers are religion and language. The two things that amaze me the most, the starry sky above me and the moral law within me. Two things make me look stupid, the infinite starry sky, and the human sense of right and wrong. Two things fill the mind with new and increasing awe and awe, which we contemplate more often and more steadily, the starry sky above me and the moral law within me. Two things filled me with ever-increasing awe and admiration, the longer and more earnestly I contemplated them, the starry sky outside and the moral law within. Eventually I had to wipe out science, to create space for belief. He who is cruel to animals also becomes cruel when dealing with other people. We can know a person's heart from his attitude towards animals. Doctors think they are doing something for you by labeling what you have as a disease. It is assumed that there is a great unity in nature, with respect to the adequacy of one cause to account for the various kinds of consequences. He who has made great moral progress stops praying. Among all nations, through the darkest polytheism shines some faint spark of monotheism. Of all the poetry of art, which is almost entirely of genius and guided at least by teachings or example, retains the first rank. From the twisted wood of men, nothing straight has ever been made. In all the ratings we describe as beautiful, we don't allow anyone to think otherwise. In the concept of one thing alone, the character of its existence cannot be found. In law, a man is guilty if he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks about doing it. The ideal of the Supreme Being is nothing but the organizing principle of reason which directs us to see all connections in the world as if they stem from sufficient necessary causes. The light dove, splitting the air in its free flight, and feeling its resistance, probably imagined that its flight would be easier in empty space. Suicide is not disgusting because God forbids it. God forbid it because it's vile. It is not only God's will that we should be happy, but that we should make ourselves happy. Act in such a way that you will deserve to be happy. Thinking in pictures precedes thinking in words. It is beyond all doubt that all our knowledge originates from experience. Give a man everything he wants, and in that moment everything is not everything. Dare to know. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. For men, the state of nature is not a state of peace, but war. Wisdom is shaped by life. Morals are not the doctrine of how we make ourselves happy, but how we make ourselves worthy of happiness. If a person makes himself a worm, he should not complain if he is stepped on by people. Maturity is the ability to use one's intelligence without guidance from others. Act as if the basis of your actions will produce a law for the whole world. Religion is the recognition of all our duties as holy leaders. Morals are not the doctrine of how we make ourselves happy, but how we make ourselves worthy of happiness. Maturity is the ability to use one's intelligence without guidance from others.